7 completions, 25 to the Chiefs, 2 to the Bills.
That's not even how the stats work. So dumb.
Still works.
Do you even football, bro?
Just the fact.
Romo had this to say after the game. Listen to this Romo quote panel. You'll love this one, Nick. It's like you're always trying to overcome. Jordan had to overcome the Pistons. Buffalo has had to overcome Kansas City. It's been so close, and now all of a sudden it's like, oh my goodness, they might actually be the team to beat now. That means you guys are the Pistons. Josh Allen is Michael Jordan with the jump. He was like flying.
Did Romo say that after
correctly predicting the score of the game? The guy knows what he's talking about.
Or after last year's game?
That's what I'm saying. They
went to Arrowhead,
destroyed
scored 20. Josh Allen 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, even leapt over a guy.
It was this game.
Okay, it was this game. The less impressive of the two. Okay, listen. I consider myself a man of all sports, but I obviously lean NFL and NBA. Brew is oddly a huge baseball fan, a huge football fan, and is known for a lot of, he was, he was
back in the day. We're not talking about playing.
But people, our viewers might not know this, but once upon a time, Chris Broussard was known as an NBA insider. Brew, so correct me if I'm wrong here. The Bulls got over the Pistons by beating them in some random February game or in the playoffs? It was the playoffs, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
You are right.
All right. Hey, Tony Romo, listen, I appreciate you, man. I think you're a great broadcaster, and he nailed it. Tony Romo and I were the only people that had the under yesterday, and I was happy to cash that bet in. However, this is what I'm talking about with the Bills. If I'm wrong and Brew's right and the odds makers are right that the Bills are clearly the best team in football and clearly going to win the Super Bowl, then we will have time and a full offseason to crown them and celebrate them. Why does everyone want to microwave it? Why does everyone demand we act like this team has proven something that they've never proven? We already knew they could win in Arrowhead. We already knew they could hold Mahomes to 20 points in Arrowhead. They could force him into a sloppy multi-turnover game. And that got them exactly nothing last year. What we found out yesterday was this Chiefs defense, even a banged up, very young Chiefs defense, can actually, can play a solid game. And no, I don't think, maybe the torch will get passed. Listen, Young eventually beat the Cowboys, and Manning eventually beat the Patriots. Maybe it'll happen, but yesterday was not that.
Yeah. For me, number one, they beat it, like you said, they beat up on them last year, right? So this is not overcoming them, right? You got to beat them in the playoffs. But the equalizer in this thing is Von Miller. Von Miller is here. Right? Von Miller was not here last year. Von Miller is here. When Patrick Mahomes got that football, Kansas City Chiefs fans might have been saying, we're going to go down there. I was saying to the TV, Von finna wreck this game.
Really?
And Von Miller was wrecking the game the whole game. Yes, he got a little pressure on the end, forced Patty Mahomes to get that ball out quick. Great play by the defensive back, jumping that route, making that play. But Von Miller is here. If the Kansas City Chiefs have to come to Buffalo, Von Miller is going to wreck the game again. They cannot block him, right? So for me, that is why I'm saying, yes, they are over the hump, because you go out and you add this guy to your defense, and he is going to cause problems. He made it hard on Patrick Mahomes all game long, and you can tell Patty Mahomes even got out of the pocket early sometimes because of the presence of Von Miller, and that is what he brings. And that's why, yes, they are over that hump. I think the Kansas City Chiefs do not want to see Buffalo Bills in the playoffs,
so
especially if it's in Buffalo.
It too.
Everybody is.
Hey.
Look, to add to your Von Miller point, he had 2 sacks. They had 3 as a team. You know this. They met 5 times with Allen and Mahomes. Never have they had 3 sacks in a game. Now, 3 isn't like a huge number, but still, they had more pressure on him yesterday than they probably ever have, and that's due to Von Miller. As much as I'd love to rub it in on Nick, he's right. It's just a regular season game.
No doubt.
And even
all regular season games, though.
Yeah, but we got to look at last year. They beat them 38-20. They destroyed them, and we all would have thought. Now, Josh Allen was not this Josh Allen. He had been the year before, but last year he was up and down.
He was up until that point, and then he went into a slump. They lost 5 of 7 after that game.
You mentioned Jalen Hurts earlier. I think right now the MVP would be Josh Allen.
Maybe.
And so he's playing much better football. Obviously, they got Von Miller. I do agree. I picked Buffalo to win this before the season started. But Tony Romo is jumping the gun.
Yes.
You know that. It's a regular season game. All this revenge talk, they even asked Allen after the game, oh, was this revenge for last year? Everybody's talking about revenge for
And
that.
what
playoff
Allen
game.
say?
No way. Yeah. To Allen's credit,
Exactly right.
he's like, nothing that happened last year affected this game or will affect the rest of the season. That's the mentality they have to have. And if he keeps that, it'll be
Absolutely.
good for the
James's
Bills.
credit. Last year, they realized that they needed Von Miller or someone like Von Miller. They went out and got Von Miller. So they got better while the Tyreek Hill
but
left
last year
the Chiefs. So I'm just like, but I understand, but I have to put a small rejection on like, it's the regular season. Like, I don't know. The Bengals beat you in the regular season, then beat you in the playoffs. And we've talked about Peyton Manning getting over the hump and then beating the Patriots in the playoffs. So I'm not saying your reign is over like the Pistons, because Pistons won, 2 championships. You guys only won 1. But my old trusty, rusty, dusty full screen here of Allen cooking you guys up. I would be scared if this was my favorite team and I saw a guy throw 10 touchdowns, 0 interception, and they're not like they're laser beams into the end zone.
Where you disprove your own argument, though, as to why the Chiefs, when I say I feel better today than I did on Friday, because yes, those are unbelievable numbers. But if you put the last 3 games, 1, 2, 3, he's been good in all of them. But his least productive game of the last 3 was yesterday. So while you say the Bills realized they had an issue, they went out and got Von Miller, the Chiefs realized we're going to have the number 1 offense in the league no matter what. They're still the number 1 scoring offense in football. We need to invest in the defense. Unfortunately, the biggest piece they invested in, their first-round pick, was inactive yesterday because he got hurt in week 1 on that terrible Arizona turf. Their other starting corner was inactive yesterday because he got hurt against the Raiders. Their best inside linebacker, or second best, Willie Gay, was coming off suspension or is coming off this week. So the money the Chiefs spent on defense wasn't even on the field yesterday, and it still actually played well. One other point, because people will be like, okay, but whatever, the game's played. Now, if the Bills and Chiefs finish with the same record, the game's in Buffalo. AFC Championship game's in Buffalo. And can we show Patrick Mahomes' stats at home? It's a real concern, because look at Patrick Mahomes at home. 26-7, a 101 passer rating, unbelievable touchdown interception ratio. It's why he's had one of the greatest starts to a career ever. So look at what happens to him on the road. Can we show it? Oh, my God, he gets better. Oh, no, America. Patrick Mahomes at home is Peyton Manning. Patrick Mahomes on the road is a Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers cyborg hybrid. So, much like being ahead of the Chiefs, being behind the Chiefs is bad. Being ahead of them is sometimes good. Like yesterday, you're playing the number 1 defense in football. Mahomes had to get a touchdown. He had 1 minute. And it felt like a coin flip. Felt like a coin flip.
That's true.
And listen, sometimes a coin flip comes up tails. And sometimes it comes up tails, you don't get the ball and you don't get to move on to the playoffs and they change the rules. I don't know, Buffalo. Sometimes, coin flips. Who knows how it happens? But sometimes that happens. Sometimes it goes your way.
They're not going into Buffalo winning this year. I promise you that.
Okay, promised.
Promise.
I see all them stats, but it ain't happening.
Are we ready to write off the 3-3 Packers?
Oh, shoot. I'm
Close to
gone.
home,
Patrick
James.
Mahomes,
Close to home.
1-0 in his career in Buffalo.
I ain't going to be